Daredevil, episodes 5 and 6.
Yes.
I watched them back to back. I texted you
Mm-hmm.
if you had asked if you had seen it. You said you hadn't seen 6 yet.
But I was right about.
I
I was just finishing breakfast. I was just finishing
Yeah.
making breakfast, and I ate breakfast while I watched episode 6.
Loved these 2 episodes. I'll say it up front. I'll say it from Jump Street. I enjoy them a lot.
So I want to say something
you
real
were like,
quick.
I have some thoughts. And then that started a meme war between us.
Yeah, well, the reason why I thought it was funny is because I knew how to get a rise out of you, which was all I have to do is be cagey and not say whether I
Be
like it
very
or not.
vague about something.
I have some thoughts.
I have thoughts. Yeah, everybody has fucking thoughts, Tyler.
As soon as Jake hears me or reads me saying I have some thoughts, his immediate reaction, I guarantee you, is, "Oh, fucking great! Here comes Tyler with his fucking it's Tyler. I'm Tyler with a big fucking
I
beard."
literally sent him an emoji.
That's exactly what. Yeah.
A photo, like those like sticker emoji things
Okay.
of me with my
Yeah.
hand in my head,
Okay.
my head in my hands, because I
Yeah.
was just like, this fucking guy.
I know.
Because I also knew that we were recording the podcast, so you're being cagey on purpose and being like,
yes.
"Oh, well, I want to talk about it on the show."
Spoiler alert. I watched episode 5, which featured Yusuf Khan, dad of Kamala Khan. And while I'm watching
Matt
it,
is trying to get a bank loan for the the
you know what
law
happens. You
firm.
watched it.
What's the thing we agreed on that was for the spoilers?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, well,
I got what I paid for.
There you go.
You're getting
Fucking-
spoilers.
You're getting spoiled, motherfucker. No, and I'm sitting there, and I can't help but be meta about a lot of stuff. While I'm watching any particular episode or whatever, if something happens that I know is going to be called out as one thing or another, I immediately start thinking about that and instead of watching the show, instead of paying attention to the show. So, of course, while I'm watching that first episode, I think Tuesday night,
episode 5, yeah.
yes, the whole time, anytime he's on the screen, I'm just like, oh, I can't wait for, I can't wait for the purists to be like, why the fuck is da-da-da-da-da and blah-blah-blah-blah-blah. And let me just say this right now. If we're treating these like comic books, which we fucking should,
Yes.
I dropped the fucking hammer on the show last week.
Yes.
On Daredevil Born Again, because I was like, what do we fucking do? Okay, now look, what they're trying to do is they're trying to do exactly what I was complaining about last week.
Yeah.
And that was, what are they doing about Daredevil in the MCU, quote unquote?
Funny enough.
And here's how we're doing it. And also,
What?
these types of interactions between like a civilian alter ego and another civilian who's connected to a superhero in the comics, these happen in the comics all the time. And nobody fucking complains about them when they're in the comics. But because it's a TV show that people on the alt-right fucking scale of the comic book, conversation, because I know they're watching it, I know that they're having issues. I don't know if they have or not. I don't give a shit, because here's the thing. I have completely come around on this show because how are we looking at this show? What are we doing? I kept asking last week. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Well,
the question should be, Tyler, I'm almost done. Trust me. The question should be, Tyler, what are you doing watching the show? Are you watching it to complain about it, or are
Right.
you watching it to enjoy it? And I decided halfway through that episode, because about halfway through, I'm still trying to figure out, is this good? Is this bad? And that's when I realized, who fucking cares? Am I watching it to enjoy it, or am I watching it to critique it?
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, I'm watching it to enjoy it. That's why I watch all the MCU shit. Good, bad, indifferent. The Marvel shit before there was an MCU. Good, bad, indifferent. Why? Because it's fucking, even Ben Affleck's shitty fucking Daredevil movie was still fucking Daredevil on the fucking big screen. Same thing with Green Lantern and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
It was fucking Green Lantern. Yes, it was terrible.
I will contend that movie.
Don't say that it deserves.
No.
Okay, good.
I'm saying
'Cause it doesn't.
No, honestly, the first half of that movie isn't bad. Like the first act into the second act aren't that terrible. It's when he comes back to Earth Like when he's on Oa and doing all the things on Oa, it's kind of fun and enjoyable. And it's all
Yeah,
this stuff.
CGI is pretty.
Yeah, but it was cool to see Oa and
course.
Kilowog
Yeah,
and like, all this shit.
Michael Clark Duncan,
Yeah.
again, who was also
And
in Daredevil.
Mark Strong, greatest Sinestro. It
Fucking
was fun.
great, dude. Mark Strong is a
The
great guy.
the second Hal Jordan comes back to Earth, that movie goes downhill fast. Including
Anyway.
one part where we're not talking about that. We're talking about Daredevil.
Right, but the point is like I keep
We've
keep
always
for-
talked about this.
I
There's a
keep
little bias
forgetting
to
to
this,
tell
yeah.
myself that I'm enjoying this because I want to, because this is the stuff that I enjoy. And if I don't, then I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be like, hey, well, we're not going to be able to review it anymore because I've decided not to watch it.
Well,
Because why would I not watch it? And that's when I realized I'm like, this is fine and this is good. And in fact, I enjoy it. And I'm okay with this character being in here, knowing that, I mean, we have also the swordsman in the next episode from fucking Hawkeye, from Kate Bishop.
I got really
right?
excited about that. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I mean, they even showed I think a YouTube
Can
video.
I talk now?
The point is that I was way too hard on the show, and I've changed. And yes, I'm sorry. I've controlled the
You
conversation far
filibustered.
too long.
Uh,
Well, you wanted to take away kids' school lunches. I had to.
also because I had to take my dog upstairs. But anyway,
Oh shit!
I
I had to vamp, dude. I had to fill time while you were off roading.
what is rodent to you?
Off roading.
I don't even explain it because I'm not gonna play the drop.
Off roading. What drop?
Off-road.
Oh, you saw that?
We'll have that soon because you'll be going to doing that Hoosiers thing.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, later off air. Off panel, off topic, off air.
No, we'll tease it.
That's
on
our
the,
new
on the air.
Hey, that's our new podcast. Off panel, off topic, off air. It's for patrons only on our fake Patreon. Because nobody will pay for this.
Behind the scenes.
I lost it. There's an interesting thing too, because while I was watching episode 5, I thought about what you were saying last week, and I had the same thought you did, where I was like, I don't really give a shit about anything because I thought Tyler's definitely gonna be like, what are we doing with this? But as the episode progresses, it makes more and more sense why it exists, and it's a really good. And like you were talking about treating it like comic books, right?
Yeah.
And I saw somebody else.
Some are good and some are bad.
I
mean,
saw somebody else say that on Blue Sky, and I thought that was interesting. Where it was, a similar take, where it was, this is a perfect example of a, in between issue between two big arcs. So we finished that first arc of him finally coming to terms with he just gives into his.
And I hate to use the term filler issue because, to be honest, that number 4 Absolute Batman is not terrible.
No,
It's just a filler issue in a big thing that you've been announcing for a year. That was my big issue. Big.
I love what this episode did with your expectations and played a lot with bait and switch styles, and I like that. Like, for example, we see Matt use the new Billy Club. We see the suits and everything, so we know it's coming. We know the suit's coming back, right? But it doesn't come back in this episode.
Mm-mm.
And it barely even shows up in episode 3. Or episode 6. It shows up at the end of that episode. But
Love the
knowing
eyes.
what's going to come after this is going to be fucking insane. So anyway, back to this. I was thinking that too, and I had a critical view of it. I'm like, wait a minute.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Yeah,
and
what are we? Not
because it's in the middle of the heist.
same
and it's like,
question, different inflection.
and it's like, God damn it! I just love Charlie Cox
Right.
as Matt Murdock. He fucking kills this role. And you know what?
D'Onofrio's Kingpin.
Killing it. Despite how you may feel about Dwayne Johnson, I'm going to say what The Rock said last year when it went to WrestleMania. Sit down, shut up, and enjoy the ride that they're taking us on. Because that's what I did in these last 2 episodes, and that's why I love them. I was like, oh my gosh, that 5th episode, I was like, when is he going to put the suit back on? We told we were getting the suit. And I turned to the comic book guy from The Simpsons, and I was like, where is the fucking suit? And in the meantime, it was like, no, you have to understand that it's Matt, like, and his girlfriend talking about masks and how that plays and like vigilantes and stuff, and then that sequence when they bait and switch you again, where they're like, take the blind guy, and then he says no, take the husband. Like, don't pity me because I'm blind. Because you think, oh, he's gonna get away, put a suit on, and come back and whip their ass. And then the episode says, no, we're not doing that. We're doing this. And I appreciated it more because, like, okay, this is giving me something new and interesting. And dude, the fucking stairwell scene was so awesome when he slowly takes his tie off and strangles the dude, and then catches the fucking shotgun before it's all. There's no sound.
Well, the
It's
entire
just breath.
fight, he's trying. He
Not
can't
to
make
sound
any
off.
noise.
Yeah. And it's they keep playing. Then and what I think this show is done really well, and it's shown in this episode and really shown off in the next one, is doing the parallel storylines and doing the parallel similarities. Like they really like do it in this one and the next one, of like when they're about to breach and shoot tear gas, they're counting outside, and then Matt is not giving up the diamond, and the dude is counting like, I'm gonna give you a count to like 3 or what was it, 3 or something, and they sync it up at 3, 2, 1, and then all hell breaks. Like it was just so well made. And the fact that he like went on the fucking rampage and hunted him down and beat the shit out of it. Oh my god, when he stomped on his leg and shattered it, I literally bit my finger like, ah! Like that was painful, you know what I mean? I loved it. Fucking loved it.
I loved it too. Episode 6.
We're just going to do that? Well, I want to point out, I thought it was going to be...
The diamond's going to come back somehow.
No, it already did. It paid off in episode 6 because we find out, because in the and this is where I was going to point to you. If I was like, oh, this fucking guy.
Where does it?
So when you talked about your vagueness of your text, I was ready to debate you because I'm like, if he's going to say episode 5 was filler and 6 actually meant something, I'll be like, no. There's a scene in episode 5 that ties those 2 episodes together, because when they're, I can't remember exactly the moment, but there's a moment where the guy that's the lead Irishman with the green mask,
Yeah.
he says, get this to Luca. Like, their point is to get the diamond to Luca. And Luca is the guy that's talking to Fisk,
Yeah.
where he squeezes him for money.
Yeah.
So the diamond is tied back to Fisk and tied back to Luca. So that's how it's tied to the 2 episodes. See, it made sense. It wasn't just a random episode. I'm saying if anybody thinks that this episode 5 didn't have a purpose and it was just... No, I'm not saying you do. But if someone does, I would just say, like, I think that was the point. It was to tie that Fisk is still dirty.
I think we have not been doing the grift report for a long time, and I'm fine with that. I am fine with that. But the problem is we did it for so long that...
Combative.
I just kind of got it into my head like we should be more critical of this stuff, because I don't want to be seen as a shill or whatever. Like, I want to, it's what all critical reviews start with in the mind of the reviewer, and it is, I can't start off and I can't have this too negative or too positive. You have to have some problems with stuff. I truly do think that's how reviewers think when they start doing it. And I don't want to feel like that. I want to talk about the show on our show as a fan watching it, because that's what I am.
Well, and
I'm not a reviewer watching it.
Another thing that I really love
fun
about these last 2 episodes is it's really, really tied it into the MCU proper. Like, so with Kamala's dad being a part of it, and then also the swordsman in the next episode, and it being like,
incredibly powerful person in New York.
And again, tying that, like, the fact that, like,
As his alter
okay,
ego.
so there is some payoff to Fisk being in the Hawkeye show. Like, there is a little bit of payoff to that. However, you still just kind of hand wave the Echo thing where I'm like, okay, that's weird. And I agree with you. And by the way, I agree with you on the criticisms of this, and that's another thing too, where I was like, I turned my thing off of, like, and it wasn't to say like I didn't want to criticize the episode. I just had a moment where, like, you know what, I'm enjoying myself and I don't really give a shit. Like, this is just fun. And
yeah, just now I was trying to think of something critical to talk about.
You know what the problem
is?
You know what the problem? And you're right when we talk about the grift report and stuff. You're absolutely right. I think the main thing is to hate Marvel now.
Well,
because they've gotten so far past,
We started, I think, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but I think we both kind of went down the same path, which is we kind of started thinking, well, we don't want to be like Marvel shills, okay? Because every time we talk, like, I didn't really like the Marvels, not so much.
I enjoy it. We
I'm saying, like, I don't enjoy every single thing
No,
that
yeah,
Marvel
right.
does, but I do watch everything, and for the most part, I enjoy them, even when they're not so good.
unless it's Secret Invasion.
Yeah, fuck it. Well,
I didn't even watch that show.
Motherfucker, you used AI for the opening credits. What did you expect was going to happen?
I didn't
Fuck
even
you.
try to watch that show.
I watched it through season or episode like 3, and then I
Agatha shocked me. I didn't even give a shit about that show,
I loved it.
and I enjoyed it a lot.
Anyway,
and I think this, like, the end of this season is going to be nuts, and I think these just the tension. And I wonder, like, and I think it may be, I honestly think it is just because they're just trying to get it out of the way of Andor, because they don't like to oversaturate the week, because I
would say so.
they-
Do we
they
know what
just
night
split
it's going to be on?
I think Andor's honestly, I think it's supposed to be Wednesdays. If I think I could be wrong.
Well, you know, I mean, we can look it up. We got
can do
the
it.
machine in our hand.
No, I think it's Tuesdays. So I think they're trying to split up Daredevil faster, because they did these 2 episodes together, which I didn't know they were doing. I think it was intentional, because I think this was meant to. Because did you also see that they did a mid-season trailer? So before
A mid-season trailer last year.
No. So before this week's episode came out, they put out a 90-second sizzle reel of the last episodes of this season. So, and they call it like a mid-season trailer. So I watched it after watching these 2 episodes, and I'm like, oh, I see what they're going, and where this ends up. What are you talking about?
Tuesday.
Yeah, so that's why I think they did the 2 episodes. They're trying to get it out of the way of Andor. I think
There's a new trailer out.
for Daredevil.
It's Andor season 2.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that later.
I
But
haven't watched it.
I said we'll talk about it. We got too much shit to talk about now.
We'll talk about it next week.
Anyway, episode 6. I loved this one a lot because they did the same thing with the parallels of the last episode of telling what they've been doing all season, and that's kind of been with their promotional stuff. That's been their motive, is to tell Fisk's story and Matt's story and how they're going to collide again.
You know, it was moments like there were moments during episode 6 and maybe 5 too a little bit, but I remember I've talked to you and you've said it to me too. Like, I know you like, you know, long drawn out acting scenes.
Yeah.
When actors are just really bringing their A.
And that's why I really liked episode 5.
And that's what I started looking for again. Like, there are times when I don't appreciate Charlie Cox's interpretation of Matt Murdock.
He's like the subtlety of it, yeah.
But then I understand that not a lot of people like Matt Murdock. They respect him, but not a lot of
Matt's
people
a dick.
like. Yes,
Matt's a dick.
He is a overconfident dick.
He's a slut. No, I'm just kidding. He gets around. I'm just saying.
But then I started thinking, and then all of the reactions that Fisk had in that room when he was trying to ask for money, like most all of them were reactions of like, I didn't expect that, and just kind of like, and it reminded me like fucking Vincent D'Onofrio is an incredible actor. He's doing shit. He's playing 4D chess on your ass. He's doing shit. He is. There's a drop.
Yeah.
There's a drop.
I was thinking to myself, what a sentence. He is doing 40 chess on your ass.
You did 50 and a 30. Your sentence is he's going to play 4D chess
did you
on
hear
your
what
ass.
I said? I said he's playing 4D chess on your ass. What?
We don't have a list yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, bro.
No. What? Anyway. I suck at this.
Yeah. But I liked not to speed through it, but most of this episode is dealing with Muse.
Can I say something?
Yes.
We talk a lot
It
about
is our show.
I know, because we both.
It's not my show.
Let me
it's
go on
our
a
show.
fucking tangent.
Let me go on a fucking
talk-
tangent.
We talk a lot about the show about now. I don't know if he's necessarily dead, but I think they're implying he's dead. I appreciate, because we talk a lot about escalation, and how realistically you can escalate a story before it gets a little before you kind of lose your suspension of disbelief.
Sure.
Like we talked about Absolute Batman.
You know,
at some point, you're like, "There's only so many people they can kill." You know what I mean?
You know what else I realized? Go ahead.
So that's what I mean with Muse, where because he said it's something. What
60.
was it? 60. I'm like, okay, so we're gonna have to end this character real soon.
Also,
where the fuck is the NYPD? How did he kill 60 people with no one knowing?
Also, these fucking murals are gigantic, and he has somehow done them without being caught by any security
cameras. And the sequence in the fucking alley where they're like,
yeah, come on.
That was stupid. Where they're like, hey, are you the Muse? And then they're like, he's like, he just kills him. And then, again, I'm sorry, 60 people and no one in the NYPD knows about this? It's a little unbelievable. So I appreciate by the end of this episode, they're like, okay, Matt's going to go to that limit and kill him. And I hope this is true. I don't know. I didn't necessarily.
He didn't. He escaped.
Sure, whatever.
Also, the whole.
No, yeah, because he shows up in the next episode because he's in the He's in the trailer for the next episode.
I gotta be honest.
But my point is, he has to die, or Matt, like, because you can't. Again, you can only kill so many people before I'm like, the Avengers would, like, somebody from the Avengers would step in.
Where the fuck is Kamala Khan, by the way?
So, appreciate that we're going to this. Like, clearly we're gonna wrap this up soon because they're gonna still fight in the next episode.
Yeah.
I've seen it in there's a clip of it.
I just don't think. I mean, I don't really think he's a great character for Daredevil because I mean I know Daredevil with his senses can see stuff on walls like paintings and stuff. He can tell it's paint or whatever. You know what I mean? Like if he's around one of this guy's murals, I'm sure he can sense the blood underneath somehow, or smell it, or
It's the same thing I said in the Netflix show, in season 2 of the Netflix show.
Mm-hmm.
I think Elektra should have been used in season 3, and I think one or the other.
Why are we going back there?
No, because this is how I feel. No. Shut up. This is how I feel about it. I think Muse should have just been used for the next season, and they should have just left him out of this because I feel like it's such a weird red herring when we're building to this Punisher task force that's going to make we're going to get Matt and fucking Frank teaming up. Like, we're going to get that, and you were so wrong, and I'm so happy about that I was right, where I'm like, no, I think Punisher's going to be a big factor in this.
Oh, I'm just, like I said, like
sit down, shut up, and take the ride, baby. That's what we're doing.
I've kind of flipped a little bit to just being, I just want to be a connoisseur.
Yeah.
And I know that means that, well, you should understand as a connoisseur if it's not good.
But you know what I mean?
Shut the fuck up, Melanie Mac. I don't know why I brought her up.
But you know how I have you see what I mean with that? Like,
I have no idea if she even gives a shit about this show.
I feel like the Elektra stuff felt kind of weird with what was going on with what they were doing with the Punisher storyline, and I feel very similar to this, with what they're doing with Kingpin and Punisher and Daredevil. To have Muse come in here,
season 2 also had Stick.
So you know what I mean? I feel like
that's why season 2.
The point I'm trying to make is Muse, I think, should have been used in the next season and maybe not used here.
Fair.
And we could have just focused on what they were already laying the groundwork with the task force and Fisk.
There were a lot of times during that fight sequence that I was like, now, trust me.
We got to talk about the ending of that episode.
But the one between Adam and Kingpin was rock on solid.
Oh, amazing.
No complaints.
Amazing.
No, like, oh, well. But let me just say this about the fight between. Look, if you're a writer of this show, why would you let Muse put that thing in her leg and start pumping blood before Daredevil even gets there? Now you're trying to tell me that she's lost all this blood, but he's somehow. No, man.
It's a ticking clock.
The fact that she's on the slab is a ticking clock.
Really?
Yes.
You would argue that?
Yes,
because she's losing blood and dying?
I'm saying, like, you.
Well, she's already in the dungeon, I guess. I see what you mean.
I'm just saying, like, a lot of times writers, they want to up the stakes.
You have to.
Do you? The fact that she's already been kidnapped and about to be, right? That's enough for me.
Oh, and you weren't like you didn't like the part with you can hear her heartbeat fainting.
Right, but is she still losing blood? Is this thing still in her leg? I'm saying there are things that need to be done. I know that I'm trying not to be as critical of things like that, but some of that stuff I could not suspend my disbelief. Like, wait a second.
I disagree. I think it's meant for tension and making
the Adam
it taking
Kingpin one was
Stop being
fucking
meta.
spot on, dude.
Stop being meta. Enjoy the shit. So I really thought that he was gonna kill him, like chop.
I did too.
I really thought, but that's another thing too. I thought Fisk was gonna kill that Adam dude, and he doesn't.
Felt like he did.
I'm pretty sure he did because he punched.
No, he was breathing
barely, and then he dragged him in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
I thought
what
he was
kind of
gonna just
brain he
drop-
has left because
I
he just smashed his fucking head. He's got to have a broken neck or something. Jesus. Look, people forget when you get hit in the head, like it also hurts your neck. I mean, you're not. It's not like your head gets hit and every other part of your body is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, your spine, your neck. I mean, your shoulder. Your.
I don't. King, he's still fucking horrifying. I can't. Him when he is beating the shit out of someone, it is hard to watch.
The point where the point where he's in the cell and he realizes right before he runs out screaming, you show a close up of him and he's
at ease.
At that moment he's like, this is kind of horrible. But then he switches over to, I have a chance to escape. I'm going to fucking take it.
Yeah.
And he just goes from like, trepidatious to,
human instinct. Yeah.
And just as Kingpin is a master hand-to-hand combatant, and the worst thing you can do against a master hand-to-hand combatant is fight angry. Because then you telegraph every move. It didn't matter that he had an axe. At first, I thought he was just going to chop him up.
You knew he was going to go for his head.
I thought he was going to chop him up.
Well, no, after he beat his head in, I thought he was going to just drop the axe and chop it off or something. Or just drop it in his head. I didn't know what he was going to do. I was like, at that point, just fucking kill him, man. Like,
what are we doing now?
But that's what I mean.
That's
love it.
why he's
the
horrible.
villain.
Yes.
You're supposed to hate him.
Yes. You're not supposed to be like,
And that's what I mean. It's like, fucking, that's what I mean. There was a moment, like you talk about being overly critical about things, when I started to realize, like, it's like Darth Vader is a whiny bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kingpin is oh my God. Look, man, maybe you should have thought about you not being able to fulfill your wife that she cheated on you. Instead, you beat this man senseless to near death.
To get your...
You couldn't even kill him.
To get your anger out? Although
you little bitch.
That scene where it pans up to him and he's just sitting in the cell above him, like, was chilling. His reaction was just kind of like...
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's move on to the next... Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.